Here we go again. We are moving. Today we're going to talk about improving the moment. Improving the moment is an idiosyncratic series of strategies that can be helpful in improving the quality of the present moment, making it easier to survive a crisis without making it worse. Improving the moment is replacing immediate negative events with more positive ones by making the moment more positive and easier to tolerate. Some strategies involve changing appraisals of yourself, encouragement, or the situation, creating meaning in the situation, imagining changes in the situation. Some involve changing body responses to events, relaxing. Prayer and focusing on one thing in the moment have to do with acceptance and letting go. Improving the moment is particularly useful when you're feeling overwhelmed in a stressful situation that may be long-lasting or when distracting activities and self-soothing are not working. A way to remember the skills is the pseudonym improve. Imagery, meaning prayer, relaxing actions, one thing in the moment, vacation, and encouragement. Mental visualization, imagery, can be used to distract, soothe, bolster courage and confidence, and make future rewards more salient. Using imagery, you can create a situation different from the actual one. It is like leaving the current situation. With imagery, you can be sure that the place you go to is safe and secure. Going to an imaginary safe place or room within yourself can be very helpful during flashbacks. For this strategy to be useful, you have to practice it enough times when you are not in crisis to have it firmly down as a skill. Let's try it. Breathe deeply. Close your eyes and go within yourself to wise mind. While you are there, begin building a safe room inside yourself. Imagine the furniture in the room. Imagine the doors and the locks on the doors. Imagine any and all other items you place in the room to feel safe. Imagine what you might put in the room to protect yourself from destructive urges. Imagine what you may put in the room to feel calm and serene. All right, now you have your safe space. Imagery can also be useful to cope more effectively with crisis. Practicing effective coping and imagination can actually increase your chances of coping effectively in real life. It can be helpful to write out a script outlining how you could cope effectively with a crisis without making it worse. Then, practice in your imagination. Used this way, imagery is very similar to emotion regulation skills of cope ahead. An example might be imagining yourself tolerating a very painful emotion or powerful urge to do something destructive by visualizing yourself flying away in the clouds, looking down on the pain and the intense urges. Finding or creating meaning helps many people in crisis. Viktor Frankl wrote Man's Search for Meaning, an important book about surviving Nazi concentration camps. It is based on the premise that people need to find or create meaning in their lives to survive terrible suffering. Finding or creating meaning is similar to the dialectical strategy of making lemonade out of lemons. Life is at times unfair for reasons that no one can understand. You do not have to assume that there is a purpose to your suffering, although those who are religious or spiritual may see it this way. Those who do not believe in a higher power or purpose can still create meaning or purpose in their lives. The essence of prayer is the complete opening of yourself to the moment. This practice is very similar to the notion of radical acceptance discussed later in this module. It is not suggested to pray in a way that you are begging to have suffering or crisis taken away. It's not a why me prayer. Relaxing actions are part of improving the moment and are different from paired muscle relaxation. In paired relaxation, the emphasis is on directly modifying how the body is reacting to stress. In relaxing actions, the emphasis is on widening activities to include a variety of relaxing things to do. The key here is to select activities that ordinarily have the effect of calming you down. When you are relaxed, it is usually far easier to resist temptation to engage in crisis behaviors. Being relaxed gives you time to think and review your pros and cons. It is useful to make a list of activities that are especially relaxing. Many of the skills taught in this module and in the mindfulness module can be very relaxing and can go on that list. You can use YouTube again to find mindfulness or relaxation exercise or a great meditation or atmospheric or binaural beat station on Spotify. One thing in the moment is another way of describing one mindfulness, which we learned in your mindfulness module in the mindfulness how skills. Although it can be very difficult to do, focusing on one thing in the moment can be very helpful in the middle of a crisis. It can provide time to settle down. The secret of the skill is to remember that the only pain one has to survive is just this moment. You often suffer much more than is required by calling to mind past suffering and ruminating about future suffering you may have to endure. In reality, there is only just this moment. This skill is important in reality acceptance. A number of specific exercises for improving focus and increasing awareness, which will be taught in the next segment of this module. Taking a vacation from adulthood is coping by retreating into yourself or allowing yourself to be taken care of for the moment. Everyone needs a vacation from adulthood once in a while. The trick is to take it in a way that does not harm you, and also to make sure the vacation is brief. It should only last from a few moments to no longer than a day. I remember when I was a kid, my friend's mom used to call them mental health days. When you have responsibilities, taking a vacation depends on getting someone else to take over your duties for a while. The idea is similar to the notion of taking a time out to regroup. Encouragement is cheerleading yourself and rethinking situations. Talk to yourself as you would talk to someone you care about who is in crisis, or talk to yourself as you would like someone else to talk to you. In couples, having a higher ratio of positive comments to negative comments predicts the partner staying in the relationship. You are in a relationship with yourself. To increase well-being, you have to say more positive and encouraging things than negatives and put-downs. Rethink situations when you start telling yourself they are hopeless, that they won't ever end, or that you cannot do what is needed. It is important to balance improving the moment with staying in the present. When this balance is not achieved, the strategies for improving the moment can be overused, particularly in invalidating environments. Just because they can be overused does not mean they have no value at all. Sensory awareness is aimed at centering yourself to enhance a sense of calmness and of peace. It involves focusing attention on various sensations that you have. Although the procedure is given in the form of questions, the goal is to direct your answer to the presence or absence of sensations asked about and to focus on the experience. Like the body scan meditation, this skill is much easier to learn if you can listen to a recording of the questions or a live leader. You can make a recording in your smartphone by reciting the questions in this session. There's a thorough handout of questions that accompanies this lesson. Remember to mentally rate your distress before and after the practice on a scale of 0 to 100. Relaxing is a skill that takes lots of practice. Practice on a daily basis, it can prepare you for engaging in more functional behaviors during crisis. Let's try it. This procedure asks a series of questions about your body sensations. Focus in your mind and body sensations can bring you back into the present. This helps you feel grounded, more at peace, helps you calm emotions that feel out of control. Find a comfortable position. With your eyes closed, in your mind, rate your current level of distress between 0 and 100. Staying in this position, listen to each question that I ask. Listen and notice what occurs before I ask the question. There are no right or wrong responses. Just notice your reaction to each question. Can you feel your hair touching your head? Can you feel your chest rising and falling as you breathe? Can you feel the space between your eyes? Can you feel the distance between your ears? Can you picture something far away? Can you notice your arms touching your body? Can you feel the bottom of your feet? Can you imagine a beautiful day at the beach? Can you notice the space within your mouth? Can you notice the position of your tongue in your mouth? Can you feel a breeze against your cheek? Can you feel how one arm might be heavier than the other? Can you feel a tingling or numbness in one hand? Can you feel how one arm is more relaxed than the other? Can you feel a change in the temperature in the air around you? Can you feel how your left arm is warmer than your right? Can you imagine how it would feel to be a rag doll? Can you notice any tightness in your left forearm? Can you imagine something very pleasant? Can you imagine what it feels like to float on a cloud? Can you imagine what it would feel like to be stuck in molasses? Can you picture something far away? Can you feel heaviness in your legs? Can you imagine floating in warm water? Can you notice your body hanging on your bones? Can you allow yourself to drift lazily? Can you feel your face getting soft? Can you imagine a beautiful flower? Can you feel how one leg is heavier than the other? All right, come on back. In a crisis or when you have very little time, ask yourself 2 or 3 of these questions. Some crisis survival skills involve distancing from the painful reality. Examples include pushing away and most of the other distraction skills. Others allow for some continued contact with painful circumstance, such as encouragement or one thing in the moment, finding meaning, and comparisons. The latter group of crisis survival skills involve some reality acceptance. This is a meaningful distinction. Sometimes it is important to interrupt a crisis response, while in another situation it is ineffective to distance yourself completely. That is it for our pseudonym Improve the Moment.